You see this guy right here? Now that's lucky. But this guy's even luckier. Or what about this guy, who people are calling the luckiest unlucky man to ever live? Those are only 3 of the luckiest people I gotta show you. From straight up miracles all the way down to this at number 1. Yeah, this guy's gotta be using cheat codes. And this dude's about to get off the hook. Just not in the way he'd hoped. Damn, with recklessness like that, those ride attendants are gonna kill somebody. And so is this tree. Like, the thing's probably been standing there for 100 years, but decided now was the perfect time to go. But life's full of things trying to kill you. Cause this cop right here was just doing his job when this happened. Holy, I know he signed up to protect and serve, but that surely wasn't part of the job description. And neither was dodging drones for this skier. See, during the 2015 Alpine Ski World Cup, Marcel Hirscher was almost wiped out when a TV drone fell out of the sky just inches behind him. Jesus! 22 pounds of force falling from 65 feet? No wonder drones are no longer allowed at ski races. That was lucky. But the moments coming up get even luckier. Like the time a guy accidentally won the $273 million jackpot. Or when someone literally survived 3 days in a capsized ship at the bottom of the ocean. Look, if you don't want to see the luckiest people alive, stop watching. But first, I gotta show you the time a surfer took on one of the ocean's biggest apex predators and lived to swim another day. See, at the 2015 J-Bay Open, Mick Fanning faced an entirely new challenge, a great white shark.
Like the shark just came, like my board was sideways and the shark just came like that. And it was like right there.
Seriously, the dude managed to fight off the thing and be brought back to safety without so much as a scratch.
How alone did you feel right at that point?
Oh, so alone. It was like, this is me or it, pretty much.
Damn! Mick really looked death in the face and swam away from it all on live TV? What a legend! And if we're talking legends, we gotta mention professional motorcycle racer Joan Mir, because he was racing down the track at 200 miles per hour when he took a tumble and pulled this off. Bro just slid 200 feet and walked away as though nothing had ever happened. Man, he's just lucky he didn't lose his footing. And since we're on the topic of losing things, imagine losing your engagement ring while gardening and finding it 13 years later. See, back in 2004, Mary Grams was doing some yard work on her family farm. But when she looked down to pull her next weed, she realized her diamond engagement ring was missing from her finger.
Started looking, I crawled my hands and knees, but I got nowhere, and I don't know, I tried this for how many days.
Eventually, Mary had accepted the fact that she had lost her ring forever. But this turned out to be untrue, because 13 years later in 2017, Mary's daughter-in-law was digging through the very same garden when she unearthed something special. In the most ridiculous place you can imagine.
Somehow the carrot had grown around the ring, shocking the 84-year-old who thought she had seen it all.
Okay, that gives a whole new meaning to 24-karat gold. What are the chances of that? 1 in a million? But if there's anyone who knows anything about 1 in a million shots, it's Don Calhoun. See, throughout the 1993 NBA season, the Bulls hosted a promo for their fans, and the rules were simple. Make the shot, win $1 million. But the odds weren't in anyone's favor, because out of the 18,000 fans in attendance for any given home game, one lucky individual would be chosen to shoot a 3/4 court shot for a chance to win the cash prize. The chances of hitting the shot? Less than 1%. Something that became very evident throughout the contest's runtime, because out of the 20 people chosen to participate, all of them failed miserably except for one. Yeah, Don launched an 80-foot shot and secured the 7-figure check, and he was only 23 years old at the time. That kind of luck is like winning the lottery. Speaking of, did you know your chances of hitting big are 10.7 million to 1? Yeah, not great. So imagine the odds of winning the jackpot on a scratchy, not once, but twice. See, this is the story of Bill Morgans, a previous winner who was asked to recreate the moment for TV when the unthinkable happened.
I just won 250,000. I'm not joking. I just won 250,000. I won 250,000, honey. I have. We got that new house.
God damn! That amount of money from scratch-offs is ridiculous. But you know what's even more ridiculous than winning big twice? Winning the Mega Millions jackpot.
Hey, TJ.
Okay, Stray, get this. This man says he has not held a job in 15 years.
And for getting your ticket at the store.
I bought tickets and messing with my phone and putting my money away. 2 hands, so I set the tickets down, thinking I was going to pick them up and walk out, and I just walked out without the tickets.
I was cleaning up. He was the last person in here buying lotto, and his tickets were here on the counter, so I put them for safekeeping under our register.
And I'm sure we're going to be friends.
Damn, that's not your average story right there. And neither is Sydney Thomas's, because what happened to this truck driver not only cost her her career, it nearly cost her her life. Back in 2024, Sydney was driving her semi-truck over the Clark Memorial Bridge when out of nowhere, the unthinkable happened. A pickup truck swerved into her lane, causing a collision that drove her truck straight off the bridge at 45 miles per hour. In that moment, Sydney's life was hanging by a thread, because the only thing holding her in place was a bridge beam that had gotten caught on the back of the truck.
He hit me, and once he hit me, he took my suspension out, which meant that it didn't matter which way I turned the wheel. The truck was gonna go whatever direction it wanted to go.
From that point on, Sydney was trapped inside the 18-wheeler, 100 feet above the river, completely motionless, hoping that if she stayed still, the truck would remain wedged in place. And if that wasn't the case, and she somehow did survive the fall, she didn't know how to swim.
I was like, I can't believe this, that I'm really hanging over the river. I was in shock. I was like, this is crazy.
Sydney's only hope was to wait for someone to pull her out of the truck. And wait she did, because for the next 45 harrowing minutes, she remained frozen until help arrived.
Suddenly, Louisville firefighter Bryce Carden appeared, suspended in the air next to her window.
To this day, Sydney swears she'll never drive across the Clark Memorial Bridge again. But look, unlike Sydney, there are some people that are asking to die. And quick disclaimer, this was performed by professionals in a controlled environment. See, in 2012, professional base jumper and surgeon Richard Hendrickson meticulously planned an aerobatic jump from the edge of a cliff in Norway. He had scouted the location and checked the gear. Everything seemed perfect. But when it came time to actually make the jump, disaster struck. Because while performing the stunt, the high bar snapped, flinging him headfirst over the edge, 1,200 meters above the ground. God damn! Yeah, not only did he narrowly avoid colliding with the rocks by mere centimeters, but he also managed to open his chute just in time. As for Richards, he was back to base jumping just 2 weeks later. If that isn't bravery, then I don't know what is. But I'd trade all that bravery just to have zero fall damage like this skier.
Thank you.
Dude just survived a massive ass fall. And the first thing he says is, thank you? Jesus! How the hell does someone even survive that and laugh it off? Well, not every story is a laughing matter. Because Aaron Langworthy went from being an excited thrill seeker to a survivor in just a matter of seconds. See, in 2012, Aaron was on vacation in Zambia, where she found herself 360 feet above the Zambezi River about to bungee jump off a bridge. 14 people had successfully completed the jump before her, but when it came to Aaron's turn, she wasn't about to share a similar fate.
It was my safety harness, which actually snapped. And then I just remember opening my eyes underwater, seeing all this murky, brown, bubbly stuff, so you can't really see anything. It's like being in a washing machine. You don't know which way's up, which way's down.
Yeah. While she may have fallen from the height of a 30-story building, Aaron walked away with only a dislocated shoulder and some bruising on her back. Damn. I can't believe it. And I can't believe Melvin Roberts either, because this dude's been struck by lightning more times than anyone else on the planet. And if that's not shocking enough, the dude was able to walk it off like it's nothing every single time. You see, over the years, Melvin has been struck by lightning 12 times. And while some may find it hard to believe, Melvin has the injuries and medical reports to back it up.
Each time, doctors have examined his injuries and found them consistent with those of a lightning strike victim. From multiple exit wounds to trouble with memory and speech, he's had x-rays and CT scans all the way to his 11th strike.
Yeah, how someone could get hit by lightning that many times remains a mystery to this day. But you know what's not a mystery at all? The fact that this Marine survival story is crazy as hell. Because he was standing in the wrong place at the wrong time and took a bullet to the dome. Jesus, that's a real-life hit marker. Now, thankfully that guy was wearing a helmet, because if he wasn't, this would be a totally different kind of video.
You alright? Yeah. My ears are ringing.
Man, screw the military. I'm just happy the guy's alive. But this next person's living it up too much. Cause my man Pitak Ranksama just crashed his Lamborghini moments before this video was taken and can be seen joking about it on the phone. See, on a rainy September evening in 2014, he was speeding along the highway at 93 miles per hour when he lost control, sending his car off the road and into a tree. The result? His car literally split in two. But the crazy thing is, it was only once he stepped out of his vehicle did he realize it was cut clean in half. And if you thought things were gonna get crazier, when the paramedics arrived on the scene, they found him talking on the phone with his insurance company. Yeah. The only things that took a hit here were his car and the insurance company. Damn, this man's blessed. But this next person's cursed, because he lost something worse than his car, his freedom. And if it weren't for a little bit of luck, the guy would be wrongfully behind bars for life. See, back in 2003, 24-year-old Juan Catalan was wrongfully convicted of murder for the killing of a young woman in Los Angeles, despite having an alibi saying he was at a Dodgers game with his daughter on the night of, and even having tickets to prove it. He was sentenced to life in prison with no hope of ever getting out.
Good and the wrong person. You're literally identical to this. That's not me. It sure looks a lot like you. That's not me.
As far as the police were concerned, Juan was guilty. And for the next 6 months, he'd spend his days on death row. But his lawyer wasn't ready to back down just yet. He carefully combed through hours and hours of footage from the Dodgers game, hoping to find Juan in the crowd and prove he was actually there. While he didn't have any luck at that, he did discover something that would break the case wide open.
By pure happenstance, comedian Larry David, the man who created Seinfeld, was filming an episode of his hit show Curb Your Enthusiasm that night. An even bigger coincidence, of the 58,000 seats, filming took place right alongside where Juan was sitting.
And on probably the fifth tape, I think it was, Juan walked right into the camera shot, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, out of the 58,000 people at the game that day, there Juan was, just feet away from Larry David as he walked up the aisle. This not only placed him exactly where he said he was, but it also served as irrefutable evidence. Just 5 days later, the judge dismissed the case and dropped all charges against him. Eventually, the real criminal was found, and Juan was awarded $320,000 for being wrongfully accused. $320K for almost ruining someone's life? Now that's just sad. But this next guy's just lucky. Meet Ron Hunt, also known as Miracle Man, for surviving one of the worst construction accidents ever. See, in 2003, Ron was working on top of a ladder, drilling something overhead, when tragedy struck.
The whole hog hit the ground first, its bit aimed upward.
And then when I hit the ground, there was this horrible crunch. It disintegrated the side.
Yeah, Ron landed face first onto an 18-inch long drill bit, pretty much the definition of worst case scenario. With the drill still in his head, Ron was airlifted to the hospital where he was rushed to surgery. It was there that x-rays and scans revealed a miracle. The drill had somehow gone through his eye socket and pushed his brain to the side rather than through it. Ron was literally millimeters away from death. Damn, now that's crazy. Some people's stories go completely off the deep end. Like there's a man who survived 3 days in a capsized ship at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, this is Harrison Okene, and he's the luckiest unlucky man to ever live. See, in 2013, Okene was working as a cook aboard the Jaskin 4 tugboat when all of a sudden, a giant wave hit the side of the ship and capsized it, causing the entire vessel to sink 100 feet below the frozen depths of the Atlantic.
When I was in the toilet, then I saw a wave on the vessel. And suddenly, I heard a voice saying, which is the bosun saying, the vessel is about to capsize, the vessel is about to capsize. And the next thing I saw was the vessel that went upside down.
After struggling to open a jammed door while water filled the ship, Harrison eventually found himself trapped in a pitch-black, 4-foot bubble of breathable air, where he would remain for 2.5 days, with limited food and even less oxygen.
When I was right in the water, when I have access to nothing, right down inside the water, I thought of my family, thought of my mom, my brothers, my wife. I have access to none of them, no way to get to them. and I was right in the water and I know I'm going to die.
And that's not the craziest part, because after 62 helpless hours, he was able to signal South African rescue divers who ultimately saved his life. While none of the other 11 crewmates unfortunately survived the tragedy, I'm sure the odds were stacked against there being even one. Damn, now that's crazy. But look, while surviving 3 days underwater isn't officially a world record, accidentally falling off a cliff is. Yeah, and that's just one of them. There's a whole lot more where that came from, like the world's highest high dive or kayaking down a waterfall. Look, if you want to hear more, you need to click on this video right here, because these world records will never be broken.